Hello Internet, my name is Robert Pound and I am a product technologist for Quest. This video will cover the basic installation of ToadEdge as well as getting started with connections. For additional details and install options, refer to the installation guide. For this video, it is assumed that the preview bits have already been downloaded and you have administrative privileges on the target system. For a full list of the requirements, refer to the installation guide, but just the highlights: you need at least 4 gig of RAM to install, you need 500 megabytes of disk space, you need a newer version of either Mac or Windows, and you need an internet connection to validate your license and for documentation purposes. I am running on Windows and have already downloaded the preview, so I will double click on the executable. And next at the welcome page, I will accept the EULA. Here I can modify the folder if I so choose, but I'm going to leave it default. And these are options depending on the operating system you have as far as what icons will or will not be installed. So I'll click install. And now that it's installed, we can open it up immediately. We may also choose to view the release notes. I'm going to go ahead and click finish. And as we can see, the icon has been added to the desktop and ToadEdge is opening up. And the tool is now open. As you can see, we're being prompted to create a connection. You can click here to create a new connection. You can also, from the ribbon bar, click New Connection. You can create a connection in the Connection Manager itself, or you can right-click in the Connection Manager to get New Connection. Currently, we have the ability to connect to MySQL, so I'm going to go ahead and enter in a host name, and I'm going to modify the default port because this is running on a different port. I'm going to leave the default database for now and the encoding as well, and I'm going to go ahead and use root and update my password, and I'll go ahead and check save as well, save password. So we have options as well as far as for this given connection. We can choose to enable auto commit as well as restore previous work after login. So this will allow us to open up the connection and restore the work that we had done previously when we open up the tool. I'm going to go ahead and leave all these defaults checked and go ahead and test the connection. And since the connection tested OK, I will go ahead and click OK. And now in the Connection Manager we can see the connection established, and if we hover over it we can get some details. We also see underneath it this worksheet 1 which is attached to this connection. If we right click on the connection, we can copy this connection. So if I again wanted to connect to this same server and connect as a different user, for instance, or change the default database, I could. This is user data point, and I'm going to save this password as well. So test connection, and we can see that I've entered in the wrong username. It is case sensitive. So let me go ahead and test that connection, and now we tested OK. We also have the ability to change the security settings if you were connecting through SSH. If you had that set up, you can enter the options in these tabs. I will not do that at this point. We also have the ability to enter in a connection string instead of entering in manually. So if you're connecting through some sort of Java application and you already have the connection string, you could paste it in here and go ahead and create the same connection. I'm going to switch back to manual and click OK. So we've essentially cloned the connection with a different user. And I'm going to go ahead and create a third connection. And we'll use localhost for this one, and root. And this time I'm going to use a color code because this server may be a production environment, this may be a BI system, etc. So we can designate it with a color. And I'm going to go ahead and test connection, make sure. So once I establish this connection, we can see the worksheet that's associated with it has a green semicolon next to it, as well as the status bar. So if we select a different database, the icon goes away, but when we choose the, in this case, development database, we have the green check next to it. Also, once we've established the connection, if we wanted to update this, for instance, if I wanted to change the properties for this connection, I could choose properties, and let's go ahead and give this a color as well, orange. Now we can update this connection so that way the worksheets will have the new icon. And finally, for the connections, we can come up to the File menu and choose All Connections. So from here you can see all the connections. You can also import and export connections. So if these were connections that were used among a group, I could choose to export these connections, and I could name the file whatever I wish and export it as an XML. And then the import is the exact same process. So select a given XML file and choose import, and it will bring in those connections.